What else led to that growth from year one to year two? Because I obviously knew you were a very gifted player, but I didn't see 25 points a game or whatever you average
Yeah.
there coming that next year. So what else kind of went into that? Off season work, coaching, like
Yeah.
what
I
all went into that?
I definitely stayed in the gym and just I fell in love with getting better every day. Like it wasn't like a chore or like a job for me to have to come in and do an individual workout. Like I love player development and doing individual skill sessions. So I did a lot of that. And I'm sure that contributed heavily, but also aside from the physical work, I did a lot of mental training. Like that's one thing I was introduced to at Mizzou was we had a sports psychologist there. And so there I really learned like the mental performance aspect of sports. And so I did a lot of mental training in between um my first and second year at A State. And I think that really unlocked another level for me is because I understood
Hmm.
there's a lot of talented and very skilled players who don't have confidence or don't really you know, believe in themselves or believe in the process or trust the process, and so they don't really amount to anything. And you can have all the skill
Hmm.
and all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the confidence and if you're not mentally strong, like you're never going to reach your potential. And so I think I just
Hmm.
really started to understand that between the second and first year, and um, my approach, I think it was all about my approach too. Like my approach the second year was I'm going to do whatever I have to do to help my team win. And that's what it was about for me. It wasn't about, oh, let
Hmm.
me go out here and score 30. Like that has never been my mentality. But I've learned on those days where that mentality might try to creep in, like that's when things weren't as good. And as soon as I could
Hmm.
recognize that and throw out that mentality, that's where I went back up. And so I think when you approach the game the right way and you have the right motivation going in, like those outcomes and um yeah, results just take care of themselves. So I think that's what happened.
You talked a lot about your approach, like going into probably games, and I'm sure within games you fell back into a scoring mindset sometimes, right? If shots aren't falling or you're behind and whatever. But like, I'm curious, like, what specific things you feel like you improved on? Was it pregame stuff, right? Was it like easing your mind, like being more relaxed, finding that like good mental state pregame? Was it more in-game stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
mental cues for when shots aren't falling,
Yeah.
little resets, free throw stuff? Just curious, like where you saw growth,
Yeah.
what parts of the game on the mental side of things you really, um, I don't know, improved on.
Yeah. Okay. It was a little bit of both, I think, pregame and in-game stuff. Because when I
Yeah.
was young and especially at Mizzou, if things weren't going my way during the game, I could really let that um show on my like through my body language and um like you could read my mind just from my body language probably. Because that's what I will say I really appreciated from my coach at Mizzou is one time she sat me down, not really sat me down, but we were having a conversation one day after practice and I was just talking about, oh, like my shot this, my shot that. Like I was talking about being in a shooting slump and she just looked at me and she was like, it's time for you to grow up. And I was like, wow. I was like, okay.
Okay.
It's like She was like, if you continue to wear like the mistakes that you make, she was like, it shows. Like she was like, you really show it. And to me, like when I see that out there on the court, it makes me think I can't trust you. Which at the time it was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like ouch, like that's harsh. But looking back, like she was absolutely right because I've seen that in teammates that I've played with. Is like if you cannot
Yeah.
get over a mistake, like, and you continue to wear that and you cannot move on to the next play, like, you're doing your coaches and your team a disservice. And so I really learned to get out of my own way. Number one, I would, come in when I was at A-State, and I would try to get in a very relaxed mental state before the game. So, like, I would meditate. I wouldn't listen to a lot of crazy, like, hype music. I wanted to be relaxed and just focus. And so I would be in a really relaxed, focused mental state. I would concentrate. I'd put the game into perspective. Like, really, I would be like, this is a basketball game. Like, yes, I want to win for my coaches and my teammates, but at the end of the day, this is a game. Like, when I walk out of here, I'm going to be loved by my family. The sun is going to rise again tomorrow. So I would just put the game in perspective and make it seem a lot less serious than it was. And I think that is something that helped me tremendously. And I don't think people like understand the value in that. And so that's what I would do before games. And then during games, like, it was great. It was easy when everything felt like it was going right. But when it felt like I had those games where people were kind of keying in on me a lot more, trying to make everything tough for me, and maybe shots weren't falling, I would have to, I think, reset myself kind of using breathing techniques, honestly. Like, I would just breathe in, deep breaths for like 1 or 2 counts, let it out, and kind of refocus on the present moment, and just try to stay grounded in the present moment. And so that would take away my negative thoughts on things that were going wrong, and it would refocus me on the mission. And then that's what allowed me to snap back into the zone. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I don't know if it's making sense.
That's exactly
coming out.
No, that's exactly what I was just curious on, right? Like, I think those little reset techniques, I think breathing super important, right? Probably more important than a lot of us realize, and just like what that does internally to our brain and just getting us back relaxed. And like you said, just putting the game into perspective. I think all that stuff's really beautiful, and I'm sure made a huge difference for you, right? Just resetting, right? Not letting the emotions get too high. It's just basketball is like, I would say it's a game like right in the middle of like chaos and order, right? Like, you obviously got to play hard and you've got to create chaos for the other team, but there's also like an organizational, right, like aspect to it. And it's like football is like go, right? It's like go run into somebody for 6 seconds, like just bat out of hell. Obviously you have a job, right? And there's an assignment for you to do, and you need to do that. And so there is like that mental piece, but it's a lot like just go like crazy. And basketball, like you might play for 3 minutes straight, so you can't allow yourself to be so high, right, or emotional, because the game keeps going, right? And so being able to, even within possessions, like just reset, right, and play a possession at a time, because it can get very up and down, and it can get sloppy, and you can turn the ball over, and then they're up again, and so I think all that stuff is just really interesting. And so from somebody that has had as much success on the court as you do, I just think I'm just learning too, right? Like, so I coach at All Iowa Attack, right? So I'm the boys director. Obviously, our girls program's been very good. So like Caitlin played for us, right? Like Addison Bourne, Jenica Lewis, like all these girls that are coming up are really good. Sahara at Oklahoma, but like KK at UConn. So like,
That's awesome.
it's just, I always just am trying to find things that I can help our players with, right? And try to teach them the things that you learn in college, right? Hopefully in middle school, right? And whatever, and just kind of speed up the game that way. So no, that was exactly what my questions were, the reason for it. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Like you said, teaching those younger kids that, just always thinking next play, next shot,
Yeah.
Because even I train kids at home, and like young ones, and I can tell when their mental is not good. Like, I can tell after they shoot a shot. Like, it is so easy for these young kids to like get so down just about missing a shot. I'm like, dude, just shoot one. Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.